there, this is Jamie Keech from Resource Insider, and today I'm very excited to be sitting here with Mike Konnert from Vizsla Resources. Now, Resource Insider, we invested in Vizsla just recently at their 40 cents financing. As of today, when we're recording this, they're at 85 cents now, and they've had quite a run in just about a month. So we're going to catch up with Mike, hear what Vizsla is doing on the ground and what they're planning to do over the coming year, a story that we're really excited about. So Mike, thanks for coming in for a few minutes today.
Well, thank you, Jamie. Thanks for having us. We're happy to be a part of your Resource Insider group and picks, and it's been very exciting for us.
Well,
so
man, any company that's able to double in 1 month after we invest in it is something we're very happy to be a part of too.
Good to know.
But what I'd like to start with is, for people who haven't heard about it yet, can you give us the 30,000 foot view of what Vizsla is and what you guys are trying to do?
Absolutely. So Vizsla is a company actually that I started in, we started in 2017, stayed private for about a year. In 2018, in the fall of 2018, we did an IPO at 15 cents. And subsequent to that, we spent almost a year trying to find the right project to put into it. What we did find was a very large district in Mexico, possibly one of the last great, unconsolidated until we consolidated it, silver fields. And we've demonstrated some very high grades. We've demonstrated that there's new discoveries to be made there, and all of this in the last couple of months, essentially, since we raised $6 million.
So I first got an inkling of what was going on here when I bumped into you and Chairman Craig Perry went in an airport in Mexico City, and you told me you guys were down there putting some projects together and things were looking good.
Yeah.
And then obviously, as it became public and as you could say more, I started to learn a bit more about this and got excited. Can you give people an idea of what the deal is that you've done on the assets down there and what the plan is over the coming year?
Yeah, so we've essentially consolidated the district, which has never been done before. There's been two operating, producing companies that have been working in the area for decades. And we actually, through the help of our partner in this, a prospector by the name of John Mirko, we were able to actually get those groups to start talking and do a deal with us. So we've got the two major players, the producers in that area, to agree to over an option period to sell us all of their production infrastructure, all of their concessions, everything you need essentially to take over operatorship in that district.
So what is some of that infrastructure that you're talking about? Because I know there's quite a bit more than you'd see in a typical, obviously, greenfields asset, but also brownfields asset.
Well, there's two points to that. One is that this is a very odd project to talk about because at the same time, it is virgin exploration. It's greenfields exploration at the same time as being brownfields, in that they've been mining there for hundreds of years. There's 35 kilometers of underground workings. There's a 500 ton per day mill that we have an option over. We have an option on the tailings, the permits, the HEDO agreements, everything you need to be an operating mining company in Mexico. But at the same time, they've never done, I used to say that they've never done any modern systematic exploration.
Yep.
Seems that no one's ever done any systematic exploration at all. And
they've just been basically following a vein.
Following a vein, yeah.
So, okay, that leads me to a good question. What are you guys going to do with respect to systematic exploration? What's the plan?
Well, right now, we're drilling currently, but we've also doubled our geology team in the field. We have 10 geologists. We have a group of geologists and helpers that are going out, mapping, sampling, prospecting on all the known veins and adits in the district. And it's a big district. It's 15 kilometers by 8 kilometers. But even more impressive than that is it's about 75 kilometers of total cumulative vein strike. And that's only what's been known about through outcropping veins at the surface. So when you look at that as our VPX, Charles Funk, looks at that, I think anyone could be maybe overwhelmed with the amount of opportunity there. But so what we're doing right now is mapping, sampling, and prioritizing the drill targets.
So you guys have a 2-year option, if I'm right on that, on the land package. What are you hoping to have achieved in the next 2 years? If people are coming in now, what, if things go the way you want them to, what can they expect to see over the next 2 years? Well,
we do have, our option is actually for 6 years, but we have a 2-year cheap window where we've paid just about $1.1 million to have the right to buy the property and all the infrastructure and everything you need there at any given time in the next 6 years. But we have the first 2 years is kind of a due diligence period where we have this cheap option to explore.
And then you start making payments.
Then we start making increasing payments. But in the first 2 years, the first year is going to be dedicated to drill target prioritization and discovery drilling. So we are going to be one of Mexico's most aggressive, if not Mexico's most aggressive junior explorer this year. We announced that we'll be doing 14,500 meters of drilling. And that's not resource drilling, that's discovery drilling on all of the 20 plus prospects that we're finding in the field. That's going to be putting 1 or 2 holes into each prospect. And at the end of that, what we'll be doing is ranking and prioritizing those to see which ones offer the most opportunity for resource calculation.
Yep. And then would the second stage be, you know, an infill drilling program and actually building out a resource around the,
That's right. So we would like to build a resource within the next 1.5 to 2 years. But then again, the option agreement is such that if we need an extra year, we can certainly purchase that as part of the option.
Okay, and I guess my last question is, you know, when I first started looking at Vizsla, one of the things that tipped me off to the potential here was the team that you assembled, particularly even at the board level. Could you give us a little bit of a background of some of the people you're working with and who you managed to bring in here?
That's one of the things I'm most proud about. So my business partner, Craig Perry, someone that was a mentor to me for a number of years. We actually built and sold a cobalt business in 2017, which was the thing that we did prior to starting Vizsla. So Craig, his background, he's built and brought into production mines such as Tigris Realm coal in Far Eastern Russia. He was involved in Next Gen Energy, the genesis of that. He was one of the founding shareholders of EMR Capital, which is a multi-billion-dollar private equity firm. And his list of his experience goes on. But he introduced me to Simon Smirlik, who's also become a mentor and a friend. He is the chief operating officer of Ausenco Engineering, which is, I'd like to say it's the best mine builder engineering firm in the world, in my opinion. Simon's probably built more mines than most people have ever visited in the industry. So we really get a lot of value out of his experience, but he also is in charge of thousands of people around the world. So organizationally, we get to benefit from his experience there too. Stuart Smith is a very well-known geologist. He was the head of copper acquisitions for Teck recently, and now he's since retired and gone on to advise other smaller junior companies. And then 2 other mentors of mine are Yale Simpson and Bryce Roxburgh from Exeter and Extoria. They sold those 2 companies in quick succession to each other in the last cycle. So very, very good. We actually kind of have 2 tiers. We have the board, which is middle-aged, let's say, fellows, and then we have the older graybeards out of Yale and Bryce, and then Charles and I are kind of the younger guys that are running the day-to-day.
Yeah, and I mean, to be frank, it's a shockingly strong board for a junior exploration stage company. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you very much for coming in today, and I appreciate you giving us a bit more information, and I look forward to following the story going forward.
Thank you, Jamie. Appreciate it.
Cheers.
Cheers.